Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Pornite's Island, Ancient Fortress. It's a 6 by 8 and I painted this last week. Now this looks a bit different than the other Pornite's Island view you saw on the channel, which is, I think, honestly the more classic view. This is from the east side, also known as the backside. I didn't want to call it Pornite's Island backside. But it was really interesting to paint. I'm going to try and tell you. First of all, it's rocks, and rocks can be very tough, so I'm going to try and give you some insights into that. Also, you got a sort of an issue here, like a lot of times when you're painting rocks or mountains. Well, these are rocks, but they're big, right? So you need to have a sort of a sense of scale in the painting. And that's actually one of the things you see me kind of wrangling with right now in the underpainting stage. Now we're painting on a bit of MDF that's been prepped with some house paint. The paint color we're using there is burnt umber. That's my underpainting color. And even though this is kind of a gray-blue painting, that reddish burnt umber will support us throughout the process. So let's talk a little bit about this. So this painting is a successful painting, but the one I did before, I didn't throw it away, but it was just a struggle painting, the struggle video. It was just a struggle, and I came back the next day, and as I'm always recommending to you that you get back on and do something else. And the reason I went after this is because the scene I completely sort of failed at was a forest walk scene, and I'll be honest with you, the problems were apparent to me from the reference stage going forward. So I just want to pass that on to you. If you're looking at this reference thinking, I don't think that's going to work, I don't think that's going to work, and then you make a bad painting from it, no, there's no surprise. It didn't work because of the reference. And so often I can see, yes, you can, especially if you've got this like uber genius sort of mind, you could find ways to make good paintings from weak reference. I have done it, but I'll be honest with you, I really don't have that level of super genius mind. I think it's better to make paintings from reference that is going to support you and make a good painting. And that was the case with this. So the original reference photo was taken by a friend of mine who owns a gallery out here, and wonderful photo, extremely detailed though, extremely crisp. Um, and that can be a little bit of a disadvantage in that you're looking at all these details in these rocky forms and you're going, oh my God, how am I going to paint all that? That's going to be one of the things we're going to talk about and address here. I'm going to give you my strategy for dealing with that kind of thing. And you could apply it to painting rocks, mountains, little rocks, big rocks, it doesn't matter. The idea is the same. And really that idea, well, we'll get to it. Let's talk about the sky here. So this is a blue sky palette, and now I want to point out to you that the full color mixing session with the reference is all set up in the members area, and this is a good one. It's a 2-hour painting session altogether with that color mixing session, and I talk you right through how to make interesting colors for a pedestrian sort of sky. Like this is a sky with some blue sky and some gray clouds and things like that. There's a lot you can do, and now we all know that I really like twilight sort of scenes and colorful skies, but I can do a lot with blue and gray too, and I sort of talk you through that in we get a little into a lot more depth, of course, in the live version of this painting session. Just want to pass that on to you. That's a Substack Studio Pass over on Substack, or the YouTube members area. Now, what's the difference? Well, YouTube members area is like the golden archive. I mean, there's hundreds of videos there. Substack is a little newer, but what I like about Substack is I've got transcripts there, I've got the reference image there, an email goes out when the videos, not just if you join my Substack on the free level, you're still going to get you'll get a notification of the free videos. Now, one thing I don't do is send out notifications of the members area videos. to the free subscribers. There is a link in the bottom, and I'm always trying to tell you about the value of that. Like this video I'm doing now will be in the free Substack, and you would get an email, and it's pretty cool because it's just a way for us to keep in touch together. And let's face it, YouTube is not that interested in if you just go maybe a week or two without watching one of my videos, it's just going to keep presenting you with different alternatives. It won't put my videos in front of you, even if you are subscribed. So just a heads up there. And I do think that that mixing session was instructive. And the thing I was looking to do was the contrast the warm grays with the cool grays. And then that's a big echo of what's going on with the water, which we'll talk about, and the rocks themselves. So let's talk about this detail issue on the rocks. So this is my strategy. First of all, I try and get all the shapes in place. I try and have a sense. This does feel like it's a big thing on the water. So we managed to succeed there. Now, one thing you can struggle with is, you trying to paint something and making it look big, but it doesn't. And what I would say is it's all about relationships. It's all about having that smaller thing in the distance and the horizon and the appropriate amount of space around it. But really, more than anything else, I'd say to get that that big feeling, especially in a small painting, it's a matter of mindset. So you have to be thinking, oh, I want this to look big. Don't know how helpful that is. I will acknowledge that it's a little bit of a struggle, but you know what? Go ahead and just give it a try, and you may find that it goes quite well. So here you can see I'm pulling in some like mostly this rock formation, this Poor Knight's Island, this back view. It's all rock. There's no green. There's no relief. So one of the things I thought was critical was to make sure and offset the cool grays against the warm grays. I've got an ad for the book. Lots of books going out all the time now. Send it to you anywhere on the planet. $65 US. International shipping's included. This is the one-stop shop for painting in a tonalist way. I don't know of any other book that really, a modern book that really addresses painting in a tonalist manner, so check it out. Okay, now, so this detail thing. So my approach is to get a basic loose framework and to stay loose all the way through. What I really wanted to avoid was clicking into what I would call draftsmanship mode, where you start going, okay, there's this little crevasse here, and then there's a little peak there, and then it's so far away from the other little crevasse, and you got to do a bit of that. But really what I try to do is build up a framework, starting with getting the darks in place, and then the medium tones, and then the light tones, and just using a patchy sort of approach. And you can see it really in evidence here. And one of the things that I did was at one point, you can see this looks pretty chunky, pretty patchy, not really where I want it to end up completely, but I did do a bit of a blending stage. So we have our darkest darks in here. We have our both cool and warm medium tones, dark medium and medium tones, and now we're coming in with the medium light. There's going to be another layer of color that comes in that's going to be even lighter. So one of my strategies, and I do the same thing if it's a forest scene as well, is I might do a little bit of blending prior to coming in with that highlight, because one thing you really don't want is for there to be a ton of hard edges everywhere in your painting. You've got to be a little bit strategic about that. Obviously, I think that's way superior to a painting where everything's been over blended or over blurred. That looks really bad, tends to look real amateurish. So you're better off with the edge thing, but a nice balance should be struck between those two. And the way I do that is by, I basically got all the forms in. And at this point, I'm thinking, yeah, I'll go into the water. And I do that quite a lot, where with these coastal scenes where I'll get the basic structure of the landforms in place, but prior to coming in with the highlights, or if it's a coastal scene with a tree, prior to maybe putting in the lightest greens in the tree or that kind of thing, I might come in and paint the water. Now the water was super fun here. That's phthalo blue. I think by the way, in the members area and Substack Studio Pass, you get an illustrated palette which shows you the names of all the colors that I'm grabbing here, and that becomes and actually I put that into the fairly extensive color mixing session. I'm always trying to improve these videos. You might notice we don't have a reference image there. You want to see the reference image, you get into the members area. That's where it's at. That's where it's been. I'm not saying I won't share the reference image on the. In fact, what I will do is I'll make some of these members areas at least once a month. I try and make a members area type video available to everyone, so you can all see what's going on there and how it might be of value to you. So. But that'll be the time and place for the reference image in the video portion of my proceedings. And again, it's always a part of the materials that go into the members area. So it's not like I'm trying to keep things from you too much. It's more that I just don't want it there for all time. I'm about legacy. I'm about teaching, but it's not about the reference image, and that's my sticking point. This is a document that documents the creation of this painting. It's also functioning right now as a sped up version that we can, impart some tips and talk about the painting in a way that's a lot more expedient than the live session. But that live session is there for all time, and it is like I said, I see it as a document, and I really don't like that reference image hanging out there. But also, I'm trying to improve every aspect of these videos. The clarity and sharpness of the painted image, having it square in the camera, having the palette there so you can see what's going on with that. That's really valuable, and I'm always trying to get things more excellent, and I appreciate the support I've got from quite a few of you in that regard. Some of you have made pretty significant donations, and you know what I do is I put that into a better lens, or I put that into a little recorder like I'm using now. Now that adds a lot more work for me, like that little recorder. That's like, I just had a great friend of the channel say, hey, you're missing some audio here or there, and that's because I've got like a palette source, the easel source, and now a third audio source, which is adding a lot of complexity for Uncle Mike here. But it's all about producing something that's excellent, and I could use your support. I have to say that YouTube is really not that interested in. I could tell you back around the COVID time, the 2021. I was making, not enough to live, but I was making some decent money off this channel. That's like half now, and I want to get into actual dollar amounts. But any support you can give me, if you're getting value from this channel, is really, really appreciated. Yeah. Okay. So now you can see we did a little blending with a little bit of smoothing, and now we're coming in with these lighter tones, and these will not be overly smooth. Although I do want to point out at the end of the video, a lot of times I don't bother doing this and recording it, but I'll come in and grab those little puckered bits of paint to catch the eye. I'll do that with a knife. The reason I'll do that with a knife is because if I do it with a brush, a lot of times it can end up messing things up. So, but it's pretty subtle to discern what I'm doing. The other thing I didn't mention was the water. I love painting this kind of water. I really do. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that bit of gray that's kind of subtly reflecting the island itself in the ocean. But basically, all that water is created with black and phthalo blue and white, except for, of course, actually even the gray coming in. You might have a little burnt umber there. And I do let the kind of reddish board kind of hum through in places. It's a great support for this kind of thing. Yeah, and I just love the way the water looks in this, and I love painting this kind of water, where it's kind of choppy and there's some, I don't know, drama. Right, and yeah, you know me. I like a bit of drama in my paintings. We're pretty close to the end of this painting. You'll see me picking away at it a little bit, and I'm glad I pulled off one for the video session this week. I'm a little behind. A lot of times I like to have these already rolled out to you, but here it is, my Sunday, and I'm recording and hustling. Um, and it's just been a challenging week. That's all I'm going to say. You would get a bigger slice of my challenges in the live videos, where a lot of times you'll hear me talk about, oh, just the challenges of being a modern fine artist, Anyway, not that I'm, the guy to talk to about that. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for getting to this part. Please leave me a like, and I like comments a lot too. If you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. Till I come back with another video hopefully for your edification and enjoyment. Do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble and fight the power.